Hi everybody, Captain here, still in bed. New Year's Day, Happy New Year's, how is everybody? Everybody gonna get hammered tonight? Go ahead. We got an email all the way from South Africa. I'm from South Africa. I'm about to graduate from high school. I've just finished reading your books Worthless and Bachelor Pad Economics. I appreciate you for passing down these pearls of wisdom. My mother wants me to go to Rhodes University to study economics. After reading your books, I realized that this would be a terrible mistake. All I want to do is go to trade school, learn a trade, and live a minimalist lifestyle. What are the telltale signs of a country in decline? Will South Africa have the same fate as the U.S.? Well, here's the deal. I am not as familiar with the South Africa decline. I did some research last night, and you're still correct that economics is not going to be that good of a degree. This doesn't mean that you couldn't make it in South Africa as an economist, but it looks to be kind of the same thing, where you'd have to get a master's or a doctorate, and then it just doesn't sound like you want to do economics. It sounds like you want to get your hands dirty and do a trade. So forget whether the prospects of economics might beat out a trade, which it doesn't seem that way in South Africa. You want to do a trade of some kind. And so that's what really matters, because both fields would, economics is one of those gray fields where it's better than nothing. It's not as bad as a liberal arts degree, but it ain't, for that effort, you might as well go into like econometrics or statistics or STEM or something like that. But you want to do a trade, so that's what matters. Now, in terms of well, let's address your mother here first. If your mom is going to be one of these parents that like lords over support because you didn't major in what they did, that's not someone that loves you. Terribly sorry. I'm sick and tired of these parents. I thought it was just the United States because we have assholes and we're spoiled rotten. But it sounds like parents around the world really do view their children as their assets, and that their children are going to do what they say even though their children are adults. And it's not like you're saying, hey, I want to become a musician and smoke pot, man. You want to become a tradesman. That's honorable. That you won't be moving back home living off of her teat, not to sound crass, but you're not going to be a parasite. You're going to, so I don't know why or what right she thinks she has. So you got to basically draw the line. This will be your first, this is an ultimate shit test. This is a shit test. And this is going to see how you stand up to other women in your life. Because if you can't tell your mom, I'm going to major in what I want, be nice to have yourself, but by God, by golly, look at big-titted Molly. If you're not going to support me, that ain't going to stop me. I got my own life. I'm going to do what I want. So that's the first thing you got to do. The second thing, asking about telltale signs of a country in decline. Well, telltale signs are where, one, they don't have a reserve currency because we're in decline, but we'd be much faster decline here in the U.S. if the U.S. dollar wasn't the reserve currency constantly bailing us out. Second thing, increasing number of debts. Third thing, the percentage. I don't know if the South African Economics Department or Bureau comes up with statistics like this, but labor force participation. You want to see what percentage of your able-bodied people are actively seeking work or are employed. The unemployment rate, debt to GDP. South Africa's not too bad. You're only at about 44%. That's lower than most Western countries. And then economic growth and debt service as a percentage of GDP. That's another one to look at. Most of them you want to be going down or below. But the really key one, the really key thing, is that labor force participation. Because the only economic growth can come from people working in the labor force. And not only that, they got to be working in the private sector, because the government doesn't make any economic production. It merely takes economic production and gives it to somewhere else. And so paralleling that, you'd want to see how big government spending, the government budget as a percentage of GDP. And so that'll show you what percent of the size of the economy the government is. So all these things you want to be low as possible. You want as many people working, you want the government out of the way as much as possible. And that because the emphasis is put on the people, not the government, not politicians, not the parasitic class that elects them into office reliably. So here in the United States, I think our government spending to GDP is like 38%, maybe 39%. And that's been going up over the long haul. Our debt is 105, 110% GDP. That's bad. Labor force participation rate has been going down. That's bad. Yeah, so those are the things that you want to look. Now there is another thing, but it's not totally. Let me look it up. And that's the corruption index. Corruption perceptions index. Here we go. Now they're going to try and sell me on everything. All I want to do is look up. There we go. There's the map. Okay, so compare countries. Stories. Just, Jesus Christ, just give me the data. Click on a country score so you can see. I wish economists would stop being so stupid and cute. South Africa has a corruption score of 44. It is ranked 67th on 175 countries. That's not too bad. And you guys don't have that much debt. You are growing. You have an industry. You have mining. And I know crime and all that's bad. But you're relatively uncorrupt, and that leads me to believe that maybe you could have a career in economics. But what I'd recommend first is getting your trade, working hard, doing the minimalist lifestyle, and then more as an intellectual endeavor or curiosity. Maybe then get your degree in economics, because down the road maybe you would like to become an economist. I don't know. But yeah, I would become the tradesman as well. Finally, will Africa have the same fate as the U.S.? No, I don't think so. You gotta understand just how spoiled. I'm not making this sound like, oh, look at me cut on my own country, so I'm more agreeable and amicable to you. We have an increasing parasitic generation, but worse than I think any other country out there, we have had 3 generations of spoiled fucking brats. No one in this country really, there's some people that have suffered, there are, but no one in this country really has a clue what hard work is, what suffering is, what poverty is. We also have an increasing percentage of our population that are immigrants who have absolutely no intention whatsoever of working or supporting themselves. They merely come here to get the free government cheese, easy or higher paying work relative to the shithole they come from. But they have no desire to become Americans, and they always vote Democrat and they always vote for the left. So we may outlast a lot of our Western country counterparts. We still have the reserve currency. You can see countries like Russia and China will fuck up. Russia recently, with their prices with oil, they're heavily dependent. They're not as diversified. Our forefathers did a good job of laying a really good infrastructure of a country down and diversifying our economy. So it's going to take a while to take this sucker down, but it will be taken down. I think South Africa, you got nowhere else to go but up. You got GDP per capita of 6,000. There's a lot of potential. You certainly haven't. Infrastructure isn't done being built. Haven't availed yourselves of the technologies that do exist. So I think you'll grow. Whether you'll see it in our lifetime, same standards of living as the United States, I don't think so. That's a huge gap because we're almost at $50,000 per person. You guys are only at $6,000. So, and I know a lot of that is skewed because you have a large poverty class, but I don't know. You have a brighter future than the United States, I would say. And then this coming from a guy who hasn't studied South Africa terribly, but what I did see, and the fact people are young, and you're just not spoiled. You people are hungry. I don't mean hunger in a starving sense, but you're hungry for success. You hustle probably. Whereas in the U.S., I mean, just come here and look at our high school students. They're just, I'm wearing jeans and hipster jeans, and I'm really intelligent. Everyone wants to become a fucking teacher in this country. How many people? No one wants to become a tradesman in the United States. Everyone wants to be a teacher, a social justice warrior, some fucking nonprofit that's going to go work for the UN and tell you how to run your country. Those are the people that we have. All those assholes that go over to Africa and build the world's shittiest well that no one uses, those are coming your way. Yeah, those are the people that are in our country. Anyway, so I hope that helps. But yeah, your biggest hurdle there is going to be your ma. You'll have to stand up to your ma and say, Mom, I'm going to become an electrician. What was it? Do you guys got the cartoon? There's a Christmas cartoon shown every year. I think it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but it's a claymation deal. And the elf all he wanted to do was become a dentist. That was the whole thing. He just wanted to become a dentist, and everyone was like, "You're an elf. You can't become a dentist." And it was cool. He became a dentist. It was a nice story. So anyway, we wish you all the best of luck. Toodles.